big or small, she owns the scene. A legend strong, a voice supreme.
Yeah, next week on Thursday, we're going to be a special 8 o'clock time. We're going to interview David Sancious. You probably know the name if you're into music. If you don't, and you've heard of Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, the E Street Band was named after his mother's house where they all practiced. The interesting thing, we'll get into the interesting thing, but next week, be here at 8 o'clock for David Sancious, Hall of Fame inductee, musical legend. If you've heard anybody on the radio in the past 20 years, he's probably worked with them. We're incredibly honored to have him on. And then after we're taking a break after that for a couple weeks. But while that's going on, we have a bunch of shows going live, including Canadian country artist Brienne Lawrenson, who's fantastic, and it was a great interview we had with her. She's been and done a million things. We have Gabriel Hacohen, who is a cult expert. So if you have questions about how cults get started, how to get out of cults, he was an amazing guest. We have his episodes, I think, start going live now. I'm not sure. And after him, a show with Rob Lawless is going to be airing, where Rob's goal, if you didn't catch it last week, is to meet 10,000 friends, not just interview 10,000 people. He wants to actually call them friends and learn about them. You find out what that takes and how he's over halfway through. It's an amazing story. So if you haven't seen that one, check out the show and you'll like it. I promise. Now let's get back to you. We have one more question. Josh, pick out the best question you can find in chat, because I want to talk about other things. You've done a lot more than voice acting, and I want to get to that. And I want to talk about like where you're going in the future. So, third question from Kronos. I keep doing that. Kronos Productions. Have you gotten to meet with Mr. Yankovic during the time MLP FIM was running? What's he like as a person? Side note: I'd like to unofficially invite you to Merrifair, a small con.
Well, thank you for the invitation. Yeah, I'd love to come. You can just reach out to my people, and my people will tell me and figure it out. Weird Al, no, he recorded on his own. He is great, talented, mad crazy talented. Love his stuff long before he was on MLP. But no, unfortunately, he was on his own when he was doing his stuff. So yeah.
I have a Weird Al story. I sold the Weird Al. I was on Pawn Stars and I sold a Weird Al autobiography on the show. And then he played my clip at every concert for the next year. And I wanted to just be invited on stage once, since he's using my image. And I'm like, come on Al. Now, I was a huge fan growing up. I'm still a huge fan now. And he is absolutely a musical genius, 100%. So, and genius probably on the side.
Genius with an accordion. Who knew?
And everything I've heard is he is amazingly gracious and giving to all of his fans, and anybody he works with. He's that kind of guy, from what I hear. Because I got to be on a Weird Al talk show where they interviewed me about selling a Weird Al book on Pawn Stars. It was very surreal. I'm like, I was 5 minutes on the TV show that 8 people watch. Let's move on to you. And, I want to know, the movie Wonder. I love that movie. It is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, mine too.
And I'm going to rewatch it just to see you in it. But it's a great movie. How did you end up in Wonder? That's
like
just
every actor ends up in everything.
Resume,
you audition. And it was really funny because it came along at a time where I was like, maybe I'm just gonna stop. Like it's a lot, trying to raise kids and keep putting yourself out there and all the rest of it. And it was an incredible experience. And the director, Stephen, he was so supportive and wonderful. And a little bit of trivia: my character's house, is 5 blocks from my actual house where I live. So I got to be able to walk to work with a cup of tea. And when the day was done, I could be back home on my deck with a glass of wine as the crew was driving by, and they'd honk and wave. So it was like pretty outstanding. Walk 5 blocks, get in your trailer. Then we shot during the summer, so the weather was great. And then the rest of the stuff was
feeling
done.
Inside at that description.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty outstanding. It was like, wow, this is great.
45-minute drive home every day. It kills your soul after a while. So like that made me so happy.
Yeah, I just get up in the morning and grab my tea and walk up the road. Like, hi everybody. And so it was great. Yeah.
I have to ask, do you have any really great memories from that shoot?
So many.
If you don't, it's a left field question.
No, I do. I think my favorite moment was at the end when we're all in the auditorium and Augie's making his, getting his award, and
Beautiful
Mandy
scene.
Patinkin's doing his stuff, and just being around that kind of, again, positivity, right? And so many people in that space, and being positive and working towards this really special project. You could feel it. The vibe was really palpable. To be involved with something like that was I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
That movie's never leaving my library. It was, if you're a fan of Nicole's and you haven't seen that movie, if you're just a fan of good movies, watch that movie.
Yeah, it's a great
you
movie.
should own it. You should watch it every couple of years at minimum. It's that good. I don't know, it completes something that has not been said in a while, I think, with its message. There was more to it than just, hey, everybody's different. It felt good in a good way, not like pandering. It's hard to describe like what it does, but it's not, I don't know. It's not sticky sweet. It's just a good story.
No, it walks a really nice line. Yeah.
You mentioned that stage work is what got you hooked on acting. Do you still do stage work?
Oh, I haven't. It's I'd like to go back. I'd like to do a musical, and I want to get back to Shakespeare. Those are two things that are on my bucket list, putting out to the universe.
What's
now
your
that
bucket
my
list
kids,
Shakespeare role?
I don't know. I have to rethink. I mean, everything is from a different time for me. Yeah, my last one I did was Lady Olivia in Twelfth Night, so I think I'm a little long on the tooth for that one. Maybe Lady Macbeth. That would be, I think, a fun one to try now with the life experience I have. I think I'm supposed to spit and run around the theater 5 times if I say that
and you
word.
like playing bad guys?
Well, or conflicted people, because bad people aren't bad. If they just they just don't understand why everyone just doesn't do what they want them to do, and why everyone gets in their way and makes it so difficult.
I have that problem too, I guess. Why don't you just do what I say and act like I want you to act? I shouldn't even have to tell you. Yeah. What are your dream roles going forward? Your other bucket list items?
Dream roles. I would love to play, like, one of my first roles was a police officer. I would love to play like a detective, a really gritty, kind of dirty, part, just investigating something dark and mean and weird. I'd love to do that. I would love to play a vampire. I would like to be involved in a zombie movie. I love zombie films, by the way. I'm obsessed with the whole zombie culture and Walking Dead and everything.
What's better, White Snow or White Snow 2?
Oh.
They're very different, but very lovable by me. Like, just,
I don't know.
I mean, Nazi zombies or Nazi and Russian zombies? It's
probably Nazi and Russian zombies. We'll go there. Yeah. What about Black Summer? That was filmed up in Canada. That was great. That was a really cool kind of take on the whole. Again, the whole, like,
that one.
It's good. I love any, like, that I do believe that we have a tomorrow and there's rainbows and the world will be okay. But I do have a certain attachment,
fundamental
desire. Yeah, I do enjoy. I think it's more interesting to play that. That's challenging. That's fun, and as an actor, that would be fun. So anything in that kind of realm would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious, like, horror movies. We just recently interviewed the writer director of In a Violent Nature. If you like that movie, filmed in
I haven't seen it.
Toronto.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I'll have to look for it.
It follows. Think of Friday the 13th, but it follows the killer. And when I say follow, it entirely, like, there are slow parts of the movie with no dialogue for like 10 minutes because it's following the killer who doesn't just magically appear behind a teenager and kill them. Right. You follow him going through the woods. And it's so brilliantly done. But yeah, I just had to throw it out there because we're talking Canadian horror films now. I don't know how we got here. But yeah, he killed it. He absolutely did an amazing job. I don't know why I'm talking about it right now, but let's go to, I can ramble. I get so easily sidetracked sometimes. I wanted to find out, I'm going to scroll through my questions. I had another one. Yeah. What other roles do you have lined up? That you can talk about? Is there anything that you like? Any surprises you want to throw at people that you
I'm not
can
allowed,
talk about?
I can't talk about
That's
anything
fine.
yet at all. They'll take my children away from me probably and take my house. I don't know. I am directing on some projects. I have acted in some projects that are coming out a little later this year. Voice acting in some projects that are coming out, but I can't say anything about. But it's gonna be great. Yeah, I'm staying busy doing all the different things I like to do, and
And you do a lot. You really do a
yeah,
lot. It was so hard to research you, and I loved every minute of it too. I was like, just I know that one. I click it like kung fu. I'm probably one of I don't know how many people you have to be this age I think to even understand that was a
yeah,
thing like in the 80s, 90s, early
90s,
90s.
90s, yeah, 90s, yeah,
Yeah, but I watched that show. I'm like, okay, like I watched that whole block of action adventure hour or whatever they called it, and it was great.
yeah,
They
yeah.
were doing a good thing. It's sad that they only had like 3 or 4 shows before the company that was doing it. Like, sorry. I did want to just jump in real quick on something you did in the past where you were on TV as a host, not
Oh
acting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Crash Test
Well,
Mommy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We did
How
that for 4 years of my life. It was 4 years. Yeah.
that was a lot of I
There's,
watched an episode, and I just want to for you when I mentioned Pawn Stars earlier, for you, what was it like doing a reality show versus what you thought reality shows were doing? Like what
well,
surprises did you have?
it a lot of surprise. I mean, it is really well thought out. There's story editors. The people are really well researched, and while it is real, they have an idea of where they want the story to go, and it's your job to manipulate it to get where it needs to get. Right? Like, not all reality shows are real. I'm sure I'm not, blowing anybody's bubble when I say that, but it was great. It was a lot more work than I thought. After I had my kids 19 months apart, and I remember going out for lunch with my agent when my youngest was maybe a month old and going, okay, I don't know how I can do this. I went back to work after my first was born. I did a movie called I Want to Marry Ryan Banks with Bradley Cooper and Jason Priestley for ABC, when I was just 3 weeks postpartum with my first kid, and I was away on
Oh,
location. And I was like, I can't
how?
do that again. That just about ended me. And he's like, well, what about this reality show? This could be interesting and it might not be as hectic. I was on the road every other week traveling for 5 days. It was super hectic. It was a lot of work. The hours were long. It was unpredictable. You would kind of plan, but you couldn't because you're dealing with real life and real people. Um, and you're dealing with real people, and the consequences for that are huge. The responsibility was huge. So
Yep.
we did, 56 produced hours of that. I was also an associate producer on that, and directing my side as well, because it's my face asking all the questions and coming up
And
with the
writing.
content with our story editor and everything, who's
Yeah.
incredible people, super talented. But it was really hard work. And had I known what I was getting into, I don't know if I would have gone into it, because it certainly didn't make my life any easier with 2 kids under 20 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We recently interviewed Tanya Meme, who did Sell This House, and some of the
yeah,
things she's saying
yeah.
echo. Like it was hectic. It's a lot more work than you think. And you're on your own. Like they're not sending 30 people out with you.
I remember
You're
one time
doing so much yourself. Yeah.
I was filming a movie called The Foursome with Kevin Dillon, and we were filming on location, and it was a night shoot, and I wrapped at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I had to be able to start that Friday. We shot Friday, Saturday, Sunday, real time with the people. So the makeup team from my reality show met me on set of the feature I was finishing, got me dressed. I drove then, after having filmed through the night for a 16-hour day, to the next
Ugh.
location, and had to work that next day like 12 hours. And I'm like sleeping on the hotel bed trying to grab 30-hour naps so like I don't lose my mind. And that was like, there was nothing glamorous about it, but that was, I mean, yes, I'm very grateful for all the work,
Sure.
but I always say the worst that can happen is that, I say I cook a pot of pasta every day. I put a pot of pasta, quote unquote, on the stove, and then I take it and I chuck it at the wall and I see what sticks. It's not, I'm afraid that nothing is going to stick. I'm afraid that the whole pot is going to stick. And I've been, I guess, lucky enough several times in my career where that's been the case. And I think that's what's kept me invigorated, involved, growing, learning, and ready for my next challenge.
Wow. We're going to end it with that, Nicole. That was amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your time. You're an incredibly talented person. I'm fortunate to have you in front of me to answer my questions. Thank you for answering the audience questions. And thank you, audience, for asking questions. I'm so glad you're here. Please like, subscribe, and thank you for joining us. Everybody, please be safe out there. Have a great night.
Bye.
Oh my goodness, that is quite a question.
Oh, you are so funny. That is so true. You're like the only person that's ever asked me that question.
I'm really glad that you noticed that you pointed that out.
So I just want to give you a shout out and say it's appreciated.
It's been so fun chatting with you guys. I didn't realize how late it got.
I'll always talk to you guys.
Thanks very much. And again, you guys are super well prepared. You got your act together. I hope you continue to get more viewers. You deserve them.
You guys, you are the first podcast to bring this up, and I'm impressed. I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great one. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Be safe out there. Treat each other well.